On count 3, as to involuntary manslaughter regarding Hannah St. Juliana, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. And in count 4 of involuntary manslaughter against Justin Schilling, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
In Michigan this morning, Jennifer Crumbley awaits sentencing for failing to prevent her son from carrying out a deadly school shooting in 2021. Crumbley was convicted Tuesday of involuntary manslaughter, making her the first U.S. parent to be held accountable for her child's actions in a mass shooting. As you've heard, this verdict sets a precedent and draws a line for crimes like this across the country. Chandelle Summer is a criminal defense attorney and joins us now to talk more about that aspect of the case. Good morning to you. So these shootings are all too familiar in the United States. This case in particular is different, though. How will this verdict have an impact on shootings in the future?
Good morning, Jay. This is a momentous verdict because it is the first time that a parent has been held responsible for actually causing the murder of 4 children who were shot during a school shooting. There have been previous similar cases, but all of those cases involved neglect or some type of failure to secure a gun, which a child then used to kill someone else, or just having helped a child obtain a license for a gun. This is a different degree, and in my opinion, it sets a dangerous precedent in that parents are now being responsible for the actions of their children, according to the verdict in this case. I will say this is a unique set of circumstances, and it is one where there were some warning signs of trouble, but to basically second guess every decision that a parent makes and have some type of formula for how you're supposed to address problems with a troubled child, to me is a different level of responsibility that we've not seen in the law.
So Jennifer Crumbley, of course, was accused of ignoring those warning signs you mentioned. She was asked during the trial if she would have done anything differently looking back, and she said no. As a defense attorney, how damning was that statement for her?
Well, it's a slippery slope, because once you say, yes, I would have taken him home that day, or yes, I would not have taken him to the gun range the week before, then they say, well, see, there's the reason why this happened. So it is a slippery slope when you talk about accepting responsibility on the witness stand. Now, in sentencing, that would be a good idea to say that she would have done things differently, because it might help to reduce the amount of time that she is most certainly going to receive for this particular case. This is a very sad case. You have 4 teenagers who were murdered, but the shooter has been punished. The shooter has life in prison without the possibility of parole. So this case represents an extension of responsibility for crimes to the parents. And I'm not sure that that is the direction that we need to go in these types of cases, to make the parents responsible.
So she's looking at 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. What type of punishment is she looking at?
It's a Michigan case, and apparently she's likely, or she could receive up to 15 years in prison, because it's an involuntary manslaughter. So there's different degrees of homicides. Of course, you have malice murder, which is an intentional killing, and then you have voluntary manslaughter, which is generally a crime that's committed in the heat of passion, when you walk in and see your spouse with another person and you just react. And then there's involuntary manslaughter, which is an unintentional killing. In this case, they based it on a reckless disregard for appropriate conduct. So this is a lower form of homicide than some of the other more intent-oriented types of murder. So 15 years is a relatively low amount of time for a cap on a sentence. I expect she'll get jail time.
Criminal defense attorney Chandelle Summer, thanks for coming on and sharing your insight with us.
Thank you, Jay.